Won't you stay with me? Sorry, that song's been stuck in my head all day. Please go look it up. Stay With Me by Sam Smith. Gorgeous. So today this is called a social media book tag. That's what I'm going to be doing because I've seen it around. It looks so much fun and I have so many awesome answers for this. So I'm super excited to do this. So let's get started. Everyone's already done this, but if you don't know, you take a kind of social media and then there's a question about it and you put like a book. That made sense. This is embarrassing. I do not have any of these social media websites except Goodreads. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not an Instagrammer. But here we go. Let's do this. So the first one is Twitter, and you have to pick your favorite short book. Most recently, it's obviously The Giver because, duh. But actually, I lent it to my grandma today, and she doesn't read YA because she's like, killing is wrong and monsters are bad, so she doesn't do that. But I told her there's nothing bad, I really think you'll like it, so she took it. That's definitely... But before The Giver, it was always The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. We read this, like the last 2 weeks of school in 8th grade this past year, and I loved it so much. I got this fancy special edition with the flaps, even though it's paperback and there's all kinds of questions and decal edges. It's just super fun to have this copy, so yeah. Drops it on ground. Okay, so the next one is, I think, it's Facebook, and it is a book that everyone pressured you into reading. Technically, everyone pressured me to read pretty much everything I have read, but it wasn't bad pressure, like, read it, and I finally say fine just to shut everyone up. It was mostly like, I love this, you'll love it, girl, gotta read it kind of thing. So that was pretty much everything. Like, obviously The Fault in Our Stars, but also half of the things that people have pressured me into reading, I was already gonna read. Like, people were like, read The Fault in Our Stars, and I already was going to. I just hadn't gotten to it. And just, read Harry Potter, and I'm like, okay, girl, fine. So, but I guess if I had to pick one that, like, everybody, booktubers and friends, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I feel like this, even though I haven't seen this, this is probably a popular answer because people shoved this down your throat. I loved it and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, as I knew I would. I knew I would end up loving it, and the procrastination would make me look like an idiot. I'm like, no, I don't want to read that, blah, blah. And I, like, don't read it, and then I read it and I love it. So I felt kind of stupid, but loved it, and I'm very glad that people pressured me into reading it, just shoved it down my throat. Go read this book, you better just read it. That's exactly how people were, I'm not even kidding. So the next one is Tumblr. I even spelled it wrong when I was typing it because I'm so out of touch. I spelled it, the actual word Tumblr, not with the little, because you know it's spelled without E. Okay. A book you read before it was cool. Going all hipster on us. And I don't know if this is cool now, but it at least is more known and it's more like a thing. But I read this super recently, like in March. Well, it's not super recently, but pretty recently. Is Perfect Ruin by Lauren DeStefano. I highly recommend this. It's like a kind of like a utopian read in the future, up in the sky, just, you know, in this cover. Oh, this cover. In book 2, Burning Kingdoms, got cover change, and it's not that it's ugly, because, I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen much worse than what it's called Burning Kingdoms, I think. It's not worse, but it's not this. This is getting a cover change too, and the cover change for this one is so ugly. The cover change for book 2 was like, just whatever, but it will never be this. The most beautiful thing with the girl and the gears and then just... Who did that? Who was in charge of that? I'm gonna need to talk with you. Okay, let's not. Alright. So the next one is MySpace. A book if you don't remember if you like it or not. See, this is a question I can't really answer because I have mostly done this crazy cake of YA reading in the past, like, 2 years, so I haven't really forgotten. But I do have a good example, and I kind of want to talk about this for a second. It's called Tiger's Curse by Colleen Wick. It's fun to say Hwak because it just sounds all intensified. So Colleen Hwak. Tiger's Curse. Gorgeous cover. Can we just, like, if you don't like it, why? But this book, so here's the deal. I first was getting into BookTube about a year ago, whenever I started, like, religiously watching them. Like, I would wake up every morning and check every BookTuber that I watched and make sure there was no new videos, just because I was, like, that obsessed. And because always my subscription box didn't always work. I just scratched myself with my thumb. That was painful. Anyway, off topic. I first got into this, and I saw this on someone's channel. Okay, this is crazy. It was on Christine's channel, and it was her first bookshelf tour, Christine's bookshelf tour, and I saw this on her shelf, and that day I went to barnesandnoble.com and put, like, every book in my shopping bag. Like, that's where I, like, first saw and learned about the Graceling trilogy, which I read the first one and loved and had the other two. She also said this, and I thought the cover was gorgeous, and she said she hasn't read it, but normally whenever Christine mentions a book, I kind of feel intrigued just because she has really good taste, so I thought I'd get into that. So I read it. It's if you don't know, it's not that big, but surely you've heard of it before. It's about this girl who goes for a part-time job as at a circus, like, you know, like cleaning up and just helping out the real trainers and stuff. But she becomes really, really close with this one white tiger with the human-like blue crystal eyes. Well, it turns out, it says this on the back, that it turns out that the tiger is like an Indian prince, and he's under a curse, and she goes to break it with him and all that. So I remember I got to about, I'd say, like, right here. I don't know. Like, I read the biggest chunk of it. Then I started to get bored. I don't know if it's that I started to get confused or if I just started to lose interest, because I still have not finished it. Whenever I was about halfway through it, I was loving it. It's like Indian mythology and all kinds of Indian things and tigers. It is the most gorgeous, fun, entertaining, hilarious, perfect reads. I got to about halfway, and I loved it so far, obviously. So I went and bought the sequel. Well, because I thought it was going to be, like, perfect. I'm like, gotta need the sequel. But I got to, like I said, about right here, and I'm like, I hate it. It's not really that. It's just, it was so good at the beginning, and very, very soon I'm going to be coming back to this. I have all kinds of notes and stuff in here. It was so good, and I'm sad that I got let down. I don't know if I got distracted. I don't remember. See, that's the thing. I know I loved it, but I don't really know why I stopped, so does that count? You really should go read it. You really should. Okay, oh, I'm cutting into time. Okay, I'm sorry. It's taking forever. Okay, Instagram. A book so beautiful you had to Instagram it. Well, I didn't Instagram it, but I made people stare at it. The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Actually, any Sarah J. Maas book. I didn't feel like getting Crown of Midnight off my shelf, and my friend is borrowing Crown of Glass. So, but this is beautiful. I love purple, and I don't really like blue, but if I had to pick a blue, that is so gorgeous. And had not read this. Gonna. The next one is YouTube, and it's a book that you wish would be turned into a movie. Now, there's mixed thoughts for this. I wanted Percy Jackson to become a movie, and then it did. And then I wanted to kill myself, because, So, like, I want to see things adapted to film, but I don't want them to mess it up. So there's tons of things. Like, I'm on my shelf, like, I would love for Throne of Glass to become a movie, but I don't want them to screw it up. That'd be pretty hard to screw up, though. Sasha from a Book Utopia pointed that out. That'd be pretty hard to screw that up, because it's pretty straightforward. Like, I'm looking, like, I would die if they made the Kane Chronicles into a movie, but they screwed up Percy Jackson so freaking bad that I don't trust them. I do not touch anything that Rick Riordan has wrote, and I really wish they would stay away from John Green. They did really good on The Fault in Our Stars, but I've heard they're making Paper Towns and Looking for Alaska into a movie. One's enough. Stop, because at least Fault in Our Stars was this, and this. It was very, very simple. But right now, I'm actually reading Looking for Alaska. I'm like on page 50. I just started it today, taking a break from Harry Potter. But John Greenslow's like, the script for Looking for Alaska is good, and I'm like, script? Movie script? Like, just don't touch it. Leave it alone. But if I had to pick, it would be The Selection by Kira Cass. How fun would that be? It's gonna be kind of like The Bachelor, only the selection. I think this will be pretty good, because this is also pretty straightforward. Like, there's not all that much you can mess up. I mean, and I'm not, like, emotionally dedicated to this. Like, I'm emotionally dedicated to anything that Rick Riordan has, but, like, this, I'm not like, oh my god, it's my baby. But I loved it, and I loved the rest of the series and the novella. I think it could be a really fun movie. That would be so good. Oh, that'd be a good movie. Can you just imagine, like, Celeste? And I would like to see some Celeste facial expressions. That'd be good. Okay, and Goodreads, a book you would recommend to everyone. I don't have the first book with me. My friend's borrowing it. I'm like a library. Did you guys know that? You kind of need to, because that's a thing. Everyone borrows my stuff. But, and I love doing that. I really do. And it is Revel Spring, but the first one is called Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. High fantasy series. There's romance, action, adventure, danger, peril, kings, this, that. Just if I already said romance, I'm going to say it again. Romance. And it is perfect and beautiful, and Gathering Darkness comes out December 9th. So basically I'm just going to be sitting right here like this contentedly till it comes out, because I need it. Seriously, go read this. It's very, very good. If you like high fantasy, I would definitely suggest it. So that was a social media book tag. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!